What is so funny? Hey, all right, it's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with Gigglin' Jerry Valeri, live in State College, Pennsylvania. What's so funny?
You told me to be quiet, and I was just sitting here waiting for you to play the music, and I didn't hear anything, and then I just started laughing.
Well, I don't have the music feeding through. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It was on when you started snickering.
I just thought you were making me wait. And you were like, be quiet now. We're about to start. And then I just sat here in silence.
I was like, we're about to get started. And you start going into some guitar solo through your mouth. And I'm just like, well, okay, whenever you're ready, I'm going to hit start. And we're going to go live. And then you sit quietly, which I know you only get a really small window of time for you to do that.
It takes more energy for me to sit still and quietly than it does for me to just be crazy.
I know. And that's okay. That's why we love you. So,
boy, Rumble last night.
So I've got an awful lot of crow to eat because, whoa, I came in hot with my predictions. Like I just could not be wrong. And to be fair, I was saying this was a super unpredictable Royal Rumble. But I just ate a whole bunch of turds last night.
You called your predictions spoilers. You referred to your pick of Braun Strowman winning the Royal Rumble as a spoiler.
All right, let me address this real quick. So,
get it out of there.
I admit I was wrong about every match last night at the Royal Rumble with one exception. With one exception that we didn't even disagree on. I was wrong. However, you know how like when you're in high school and you've got like an algebra exam and the teacher needs you to show your work with your problem, like how you got your answer.
Yeah.
If this makes any sense at all, my work was right. My answer was wrong, but the way that I got my answer was right. So, for example, I thought that Braun Strowman was going to win the Royal Rumble to move into a program with Roman Reigns. And it looks like that did happen, except for Braun Strowman didn't win the Rumble.
Right, and this is why I made a conscious effort this morning. I was like, I'm not going to rag on Rob for the picks. Like I win the Lock of Destiny, and that's awesome. Congratulations to me. Hooray.
It's never been a clearer winner. Never in the history of post. I mean, I got everything except for one match wrong.
I felt very good about my picks being right. But it could have easily gone the other way. And you weren't ever really that far off base. You know, picking Roman Reigns to beat Kevin Owens makes a lot of sense. Picking AJ Styles to beat John Cena and prolonging the Ric Flair thing, it still made sense. You were right about Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, and
that was a pretty bold prediction, I thought.
I thought so too. I thought it was good. Now when Strowman came out at 7, like I knew he wasn't going to get it. They did with Strowman what I thought they'd do. They made him look great. They made him good. He went over big, and he didn't have to win it.
I think he should have hung in there a little longer personally, but yeah, actually, I guess they could have done a better job of that if you want my honest opinion. I mean, they did an okay job.
Well, the Rumble match, to be honest, I don't know how you want to approach today, but the Rumble match, well, it had great high spots. It had some moments that I really enjoyed, but there were some things that irked me, and then there were some parts that I thought just dragged on.
I agree.
I thought that I might be the only one. It's a big pet peeve of mine with the Rumble match. I hate the slide underneath and then hide the whole time thing. Like Jericho not being in the ring was annoying. It was funny at first when Braun came in, and then it got annoying.
I agree. Not only that, if you're going to do that, have it have a payoff. Like, I don't know, when Lawler did it in 96 or 97 or whenever he did it. You know,
he just kept slipping in and out whenever he felt like it. I was like, if they're giving him rests or he's hurt, like, what's going on here? Because if Jericho ended up winning last night, I would have actually ended up being upset. Whereas going into the Rumble, I would have been pumped about it. But, like, if you're going to be number 2 in the ring and finish and win a Royal Rumble, you better be in the ring. for the whole Royal Rumble.
I mean, everyone who brags about it, like Shawn Michaels, like Rey Mysterio, like those people were in the ring for over 60 minutes. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, Jericho was just snoozing out there. Strowman's just standing in the ring all by himself, and Jericho's still technically in the Rumble.
Yeah, there were some logic problems. Like, there was a time, like there were a lot of times actually, not that Brock had a whole long run in the Rumble, but like he was going out there to be dominant, to destroy everybody and then get eliminated by Goldberg. That was the job. He should never have been stop motion. He got everyone like once, and then he's just kind of like looking at everyone. There's a ring full of downed enemies. He should have been Suplex City until Goldberg threw him out, and he's resting.
And he was just standing there, and he was resting and waiting for Ellsworth, or not Ellsworth. He was waiting for Enzo. Somebody was waiting for somebody.
You're right. It was Brock was waiting for Enzo.
Yeah, Brock was waiting for Enzo. It was the same. The Enzo thing and the Ellsworth thing were very similar. I don't know. Like, I like the Ellsworth thing. I like Carmella's pants, by the way. I thought those were hilarious.
I need those to go with my with the shirt that you got me.
But so I won't really complain about a lot of it. And the winner surprised me for sure.
Yeah, but the winner wasn't a bad choice. You know, went with the unpredictability. My head wasn't in SmackDown. At no point in time did any SmackDown guys even register for me.
For me, the closest I came to SmackDown was thinking that Undertaker would win it and challenge John Cena. Like, that was as SmackDown as I could get. If you had told me a member of the Wyatts was going to win the Rumble, I'd have picked Bray Wyatt. I wouldn't have picked Randy Orton. So
I'd have picked Orton.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Randy Orton's sometimes boring to me, but I think a program with Cena, if it ends up being a program with Cena, could be good for WrestleMania. That's, and now SmackDown has their match. I've
been saying, I don't know if this is a bold prediction, but since WrestleMania 22, we always, me and some friends, we would try to predict next year's WrestleMania main event. And I've been saying Orton and Cena for like the past 10 years that they're due for a WrestleMania main event. So I feel like this might be the time. Whether it's the main event or not is up for debate. But I don't have the disdain for Orton that a lot of people do. He does kind of bore me. He's not good at the storyline stuff, but his matches are always awesome.
I think if he were in the ring and the last couple in the ring weren't Roman Reigns, I'd have been like bummed out that Orton won. But at that point, they just had me happy it was anybody but Reigns. Like, when Reigns came out 30th, I groaned. I was like, oh God, really?
And I would have bet my whole every penny I have. I would have bet he was going to win.
And when he eliminates the Taker, I was like, oh, he's going to win it. He loses to Owens, and he's still going to find his way into a main event at Mania. Crap!
I mean, I was cursing in a way that people who weren't watching wrestling were concerned about me last night at the party I was at. So they started playing with us. Now, I guess you could argue, since he didn't win, they were kind of trolling us in a positive way, I suppose. And also, for that short period of time that he was in there, without a doubt, he was working heel. I mean, he's eliminating Undertaker. He's the crowd's booing him. He's only working with baby faces, at the beginning until it became the Wyatt family. Yeah, who was pretty much over anyway. It's like he was a heel in that match last night
because nobody wanted him. Now, in the 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, and it's counting down before the music hits. Whose music did you think you would hear?
Oh, easy.
Whose did you want to hear?
I mean, I'll tell you the only name that was bouncing around my head. I thought for sure, 100%, I would have bet it was going to be Triple H.
Okay.
What do you think?
I thought it was because people have made such ballyhoo about it. I thought, here's Samoa Joe, I guess.
What was I telling you every time you brought up Samoa Joe?
Well, you said he's not coming, he's not showing up. Everybody does this all the time. But you have to even admit that there was a huge lack of surprises last night. So I thought number 30 would have been one.
But that happens every year.
Yeah.
And people are always playing this guessing game like on the post show about all these there's 8 open spots. I guess it's going to be 8 NXT guys, or like 4 NXT guys, 2 legends, and Kenny Omega. You know, it's like people, it doesn't get that every year. It's never that exciting.
You bring out Triple H, and if you book it this way, I think it would have been amazing. You wouldn't have people booing like crazy. Triple H's music hits. Triple H walks out to go to the Rumble, and then he gets Kurt Axled. He never makes it to the ring because out comes Seth Rollins, who's banned from the building, and now we're cooking with some peanut oil.
Yeah, right. And how about,
but instead you bring out Roman Reigns, the Samoan nobody wanted, and everybody's booing. And Kelly's like, why are they booing him? And I was like, because here's the interesting thing about Roman Reigns. He had just put on an incredible match with Kevin Owens. That match was awesome. It was such a fun match for me and so good. And Reigns was part of it. Reigns does good work. If they didn't shove him down our throats so much, if they didn't force feed me nothing but Roman Reigns, I think I wouldn't have grown when he comes out to the Rumble. If I didn't just think, well, there he is. His presence equals a foregone conclusion of him just ruining this. He's turning into a Samoan Kane again. And I was like,
They missed Roman Reigns, and I'll tell you how they did it. I've been saying this since the very beginning of this Roman Empire time. If they wanted Roman over, they missed it by exactly 1 year. The year Batista won the Royal Rumble, I forget if it was 2 or 3 years ago, it was going into WrestleMania 30. The crowd was so behind Roman. And legitimately, it was like towards the end of the Shield time, and he was just over. And I believe he was the last guy eliminated from the Rumble, and the crowd was just dying for it. And then they gave it to Batista, which wound up being a huge mistake. And then so they said, okay, well, next year, in our heads, they're like, well, next year we'll give it to Roman. And they did in Philadelphia, and that wound up being a year too late. And they just can't seem to get the timing right on Roman Reigns. But I'm telling you, if they
they can't get behind. They never want to. They don't use the Rumble to develop a guy anymore. They're so slow with picking who's going to win it. Like they were slow on getting Daniel Bryan. They're slow on, and it's too late with Reigns. You're absolutely right. Philadelphia ate him alive, if I'm correct, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
he's never recovered.
No, but I mean, Philadelphia isn't the only place doing that. I mean, San Antonio ate him alive last night.
But it started in Philly.
Yeah, Philly was the one that made it cool. But that Royal Rumble was not the right time for him to win. Just like Batista, no one wanted to see Batista win. They thought that the writers genuinely thought that they did. They wanted Reigns, and Reigns could have gone on to win the title at WrestleMania 30, and it would have satiated the crowd wanted that. But they waited too long, and then they forced it, and they're still forcing it. And they realize that, but this is just when do you throw your hands up and say this failed, or when do you capitalize on it and turn him heel? To be honest with you, that second question, the answer may be last night. I believe this is the first seed I've ever seen. I'm not saying it's going to grow into a full heel turn, but I'm saying last night was the first we really saw that seed be planted of him acting like a heel.
Right. I mean, it's going to be hard to turn him full-blown heel against Braun Strowman.
Well, you know what, Jerry? You're right. If that's where they're going with this, you're probably right.
But I like the idea of him going heel. Now, I'll say this, and this coming from me is pretty special because you know how I feel about him as of late. But I thought that Jerry the King Lawler was a treat on
dude, yeah, absolutely.
On commentary last night. I thought he was a treat. And line of the night for me, even though God bless the King, it's Gallagher. Okay, he just couldn't get it. He kept calling him Gallagher. He couldn't get it. But it's still my favorite line when he's using the umbrella. And Corey Graves says, just to be clear, William III, the closed-up umbrella is not an official entrant into the Royal Rumble. And Jerry the King Lawler says, well, the first time I met the first time I met Gallagher, he was wearing all black, and I thought he was a closed-up umbrella.
I did not hear that line. I was watching with a whole bunch of people, and you didn't hear everything. You know,
I'm telling you, he had some treats. He was like, oh, he knows all the secrets. He knows where Hidden Valley Ranch is. Just the cheesiest stuff, and it was classic King. And it's been long enough that I missed it, and it was good to have him on there.
I forget what's the Hidden Valley. I keep saying that. What is that referencing again?
Hidden Valley Ranch is, like it's ranch dressing.
Yeah.
And he just keeps saying that someone knew where all the secrets was. They're so smart, they know where Hidden Valley Ranch is. And it's a hidden valley, so you're not supposed to know. It's a stupid joke.
Yeah, okay.
But it's the King. And
you have a lot more resentment to him than I've always stood by. He's doing fine.
I remembered him incorrectly, I think, because I've said a couple times, and I will retract it today, and I planned on doing that. I've said, like, well, I'd take Corey Graves over the King, and I like this better than having the King again, because the King just got old and stale. He showed me last night, Jerry the King Lawler, that, like, just half-assed Jerry the King Lawler is still better than any of these jabrones they keep rolling out onto TV to do announcing.
Dude, I agree. Plus, like, it's like with what we do in radio, it's like there's really not an expiration date. You don't become bad at what we do. You can, as long as you can communicate, you can get out of touch, I suppose, or you can move into a different demographic and reach a different target audience. But like, the King is not, he's old, sure, but he's not bad.
No, you can get your wheels stuck. I think that's what happens to more people in our industry than anything. You just get stuck in a rut, and you're stuck in a routine, and you never move forward.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. But
I thought it was good. I thought that was a treat, and that was the Rumble match itself was great.
Okay, so we're in agreement there. Gal, a few more things about the Rumble. I guess since I don't have any notes in specific that I plan on hitting, but just overall things. Rumble match was okay.
Gallagher was hilarious.
Gallagher did a really good job. He with the umbrella, obviously that stood out. I think that he really. Plus, I like that he was wrestling with people who weren't cruiserweights. So I feel and this was a big topic of conversation at the party I was at. The cruiserweights need to stop being on an island. They need to get rid of the purple ropes and the purple lights and the different aprons and the different color scheme and the different commentators. They need to just be a part of Raw, and it's killing them to be on this purple island.
Yeah, if you look at it, that's one thing WCW did right, was their cruiserweights. They had their cruiserweights involved with everybody.
And don't get it twisted, WWE and WWF did it fine too back in the day. But it's okay to have, Rich Swann wrestle
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, right. That's totally fine. And there's no reason why we need to change all the appearance of everybody and get new commentators out there when the cruiserweights are wrestling. That's just, it's doing them a disservice now.
Right.
I don't care about 205 Live anymore. They're killing me.
No, not a lot of people do. That's not working as well as they thought it would. The rest of the matches, what did you think? Like pre-show, I watched it with half an eye. Way to go, Gallows and Anderson. I'm glad they got the tag championships. I didn't really pay attention to much else on the pre-show and the kickoff.
Here, I've got some results open here. If you just give me 1 second.
And when I give the show a grade, I kind of don't add the kickoff into it, but I can if you want.
Well, it doesn't matter. However you want to grade that is fine with me. You had Naomi, Nikki Bella, and Becky Lynch over Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalya. We kind of had the heels winning that one, but I'm not sure how much that really, how much.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really mean that much. I'm not sure it's going to have a big impact on anything. As you mentioned, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson won the Raw Tag Team titles over Cesaro and Sheamus. I think that's a shame that happened on the pre-show because that could have been a pretty special moment. But I mean, I guess it was, but still the crowd wasn't there as much to see. I mean, I didn't really watch it because it was a pre-show. And then one that I didn't see happening, Nia Jax defeats cleanly Sasha Banks, obviously.
Yeah, they played up a lot of Sasha Banks not being 100%. That's how they got away with that.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair enough, but I still had her winning personally.
Yeah, I did too.
So there was that. Continued my losing streak and predicting everything wrong. Show got started with Stephanie McMahon announcing that Seth Rollins was banned from the building, which usually is a surefire sign that they're going to have him interfere in some way, but they did not. I was surprised that we didn't see Rollins at all last night. At all. We saw him the night before at NXT. But that's it.
I thought that was a cool appearance too.
Yeah, it was. The NXT show was pretty solid also, but that's I don't want to get all into that right now.
Yeah.
Charlotte goes over Bailey clean.
Boy, that match had my house buzzing, man.
It's a good match.
It's a good match, and it's different watching the Bailey match when you're sitting next to a little girl that's wearing a shirt that says "I'm a hugger," and she's got her Bailey inflatables, and she's freaking out. And so, but I just kept thinking, like, oh, honey, you're in for a disappointment because there's no way Bailey's going to win this match.
Yeah, but eventually Bailey will win, and that's going to be her moment.
Right. But it wasn't going to be last night. I never thought it would be. That was a good match. What a way to start the show.
And Bailey is doing a perfect job of reaching everyone from your daughter's age up to people our age. Like, she's just so relatable to everybody, man. They're doing a perfect job with her. Mm-hmm. Plus, she's got skills to go along with it. Like, what more can you want?
And she's elevating Charlotte as a heel in the process.
And Charlotte's elevating her. This is a great feud. I think Charlotte is a real pro and is great at stuff like this. Kevin Owens was next up. I thought the match went on a little early, personally, but at least it was good. I mean, that was maybe match of the night, in my opinion.
Well, it would have been. It sure could have been. I love it. You know me with the hardcore stuff and the no disqualifications and the spots they were setting up. You know, the adage, he who sets it gets it, really was true. Like, he sets up the chairs, he goes through the chairs. Roman sets up the table, he goes through the table.
Yeah, they're utilizing that Japanese style of, you know, set the tables up and then forget about them for the rest of the match, right, and then revisit them.
Yeah, I love that match. You know me, you could probably tell that at my house I was freaking out.
Was that not your match of the night?
It was not my match of the night, but it could have. It was until Cena and Styles, and I've got to give it to those two. I just have to. Man, those guys. And it's Cena,
match.
and I don't love Cena. I don't love Cena at all. But that, God, Styles just puts on clinic.
Yeah, Styles really does. I did not think, boy, you know, it's neck and neck. I wish I would have been paying more attention to both of them, but when you have so much going on in this settings that we were in, it can be hard to focus on the match and say which one was better. They were both fantastic matches. I thought that my only complaint about Cena and Styles was their SummerSlam match just started balls to the wall and never let up, whereas this match built to balls to the wall. It kind of started slow to me.
Which is why I liked it. It's one of those, like, it was like an old Aerosmith song. It was just like really building up until the end when they're like, Dreamo! Dreamo! Dreamo!
All right, if you keep going, stop. I'm going to pull the video down if you keep singing the song. You only get like 4 seconds.
My bad. So, like,
I almost had to pull your mic down.
It was like building it and building it and building it. And it was great. Listen, Kevin Owens is my favorite wrestler on the roster. And he wins. And it's an extreme match. And I still don't give it match of the night for a guy that I didn't want to win. It was just a great match. So much drama. Made it feel big.
Which one are we talking about now?
We're talking about both of them, but I'm explaining why I think that Cena and Styles is match of the night.
Okay.
I just think that it's such a big, it just felt so big, and Styles in the loss still wins.
By having a great match?
Yeah, by just looking so strong. It took like all the AAs it took all of them to put them away.
I'm really concerned. I don't want this happening. And I hope people back me up on this. I don't want John Cena to lose the title between now and WrestleMania only to win it back at WrestleMania. I don't want that.
But they're going to do it.
You think?
They're going to do it. He's going to lose it at Elimination Chamber to whoever they want to have a triple threat with.
Man, I hope you're wrong. I'm afraid you're right, but I hope you're wrong.
And I think AJ Styles wins it back. And I think AJ Styles wins it back. And you're going to have a triple threat between Cena, Styles, and Orton at Mania.
Mother.
And then you're gonna have Cena break the record at Mania.
Jerry, obviously that was my first thought when he won the title was they're trying to get him to 17.
And that's why it might not happen, because it's usually the easiest conclusion isn't the right one.
Yeah, there were so many signs that are usually telltale. Like, for example, when Roman lost the U.S. title to Jericho, I was like, it's fate. Roman is winning at the Rumble.
Right.
And we were wrong. And like some of the verbiage they were using with Charlotte, how they reminded us that she's 15-0 on pay-per-view. I thought for sure if you're reminding us now that she's about to lose. But I was wrong. I was wrong about everything last night except for one match, Neville and Rich Swann, which was a fine match. But again, when you change that rope color, you lose me. I don't know what it is. I love the division. I was so excited for these guys to be coming to Raw, and then I don't know what it is about these purple ropes, but they're driving me nuts.
Yeah, and Neville winning in a different way. We didn't see the red arrow last night.
That's true. How did he win?
He was submission, some dumb submission.
Whatever. That move's got to be hard to pull off. It's got to be dangerous. Give
him a break.
Yeah,
Give
really.
the man a break every once in a while. I like this new Neville, and I think it's good. I thought if you look at the beginning of the official pay-per-view, Charlotte and Bayley, and then you look at Owens and Reigns, and then the Neville match, and then the Cena Styles, and then the Rumble match itself, you got to give it an A, right? I give it an A. I give this one an A, and I almost took it to a B+ because the Rumble irritated me at parts, but.
Okay.
I mean, that undercard was awesome. You had two matches on one card that could be match of the year.
Mm.
Am I wrong? I might be wrong.
I give it a B+, which is a great grade for me.
It's a huge grade for you.
Yeah, it's a great grade for me. A pay-per-views are like WrestleMania 17, or like Royal Rumble 2000, or SummerSlam 2000. Like, these had everything was like a must talk about match. Everything had all this intensity and drama. Like, I don't know. To me, those are A+. And and I know people don't like when I compare things to 20 years ago, but I think that I should. And because they're capable of shows like that. I don't care how often they're having shows. I don't care about what year it is. I'm grading on the same scale I would have used back in 1994 when I started watching. And I'll give that a B+. Every match was good. Some matches were great. And then there's the Rumble. Now, the Rumble, keep in mind, like, some matches you can't rewatch. Like, if you know who wins a Royal Rumble, it's really not that fun to watch them again.
No, sometimes they are. Like, I could go back and watch. I like the ones where Ric Flair won. Like, I can watch that. I watched that one back again. I liked it.
Yeah, but it's because that's different though. It's because of nostalgia. It's not because it's great.
Yeah.
And that when you think of a great Royal Rumble, that's one you obviously think of. But like, you're watching it because you remember being a kid and you haven't seen these faces in so long, and it's fun to watch it this long into the future.
Oh, and I forgot about this guy. Look at this. Here comes the Berserker.
Yeah, exactly. But if if you decided to watch the SAG Awards last night and you didn't watch the Rumble and Randy Orton wins it, you won't enjoy it.
No.
So there's that. But yeah, I'm going to go with a B+. I can't remember giving. Have I given anything an A- yet? The only possible choice would have been SummerSlam of last year.
No, you haven't. I grade easier than you. I'm okay with my A. I did almost. I said to listener Tony last night that I was probably giving it a B+ because I was disappointed with some of the things in the Rumble match itself. But with that Kevin Owens, I just love the little things he does. He does a stunner in the middle of the match and then takes a shot at Steve Austin on Twitter afterwards. Then you've got, he puts the brass knuckles on and does the Roman Reigns thing. He's such a good heel.
He is. He's great.
I really enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it, and I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch it all over again today.
I will say,
because the kids went to bed, so I have to. So we'll see how it rewatches.
This is one time if you give the show an A, I'm not going to be like, "What are you thinking?"
Right.
It was really good. So I'm okay with you giving it an A, especially, with your scale, which I don't mean to be insulting, but you grade a little easier than I do.
I do. I'm the fun parent.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. And I'm the parent who says, your B report card was great, but those could be better.
You have you have more potential than that.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of you're the fun parent, exactly. And I'm the one who gets things done.
That's okay. I'm okay with this. I need that. That's my role in my own house with my real children.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to mention before we wrap things up?
It was the first time I ever saw Shinsuke wrestle in a match ever, and the first time I ever saw Bobby Roode in a match ever, and I was impressed with both of them immensely.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I hope they get called up soon. It's going to be Nakamura for us. I think because they lost the title, it's going to be his time. My favorite match at the NXT pay-per-view in these closing moments here was the women's title match, the women's four-way match.
Boy, she's great too, isn't she?
And Asuka's my favorite person in NXT right now. And then if you're watching from the viewpoint of a smart fan who only watches NXT on the specials, if you want to know who's ready to be called up, you've got the guys in the main event, Rude and Nakamura. You've got Asuka, and you've got Authors of Pain are ready to be called up. They're complete packages. They're all ready. You don't need to change anything. They're ready to go.
And when you bring Authors of Pain, you bring Ellering with them, right?
Yeah, but it's not essential. Maybe, yeah, bring him. I'll just say yes. Forget what I just said. Yes.
But you know who you don't need to bring? Ty
Dillinger. That's what I was going to say.
You don't need to bring him.
He's not bad. He's just not special.
That 10 gimmick, I was like, I don't get it. I don't get why it's so big. Like, it's
fun for a little bit, but it will not hold your career.
Yeah, so with the Adam Rose thing with all those dummies that would run out with him. That was great in NXT. They brought it to the WWE, and it was just like a bad version of the Ho Train, but then, it was gone.
You know what else I thought would get old and didn't? SAWFT, soft, but it didn't. So maybe 10. But here's what I like about the 10. It's like no matter if he's in the corner giving the 10 punches, it's always 10, 10, 10, 10. And when the referee is counting a guy out, it's not 1, 2, 3. It's 10, 10, 10. Like that, there's humor there, and I get that, but it will get old.
Yeah. Did he come out just because it was 10, or is he called up now?
Good question. I'm going to bet it's a call up. I'm going to bet, but I don't know.
Call up straight to the lower middle card.
I don't think he's going to do well, to be honest with you. His appearance, his debut in the Royal Rumble was nothing like AJ Styles last year.
If you want him to have even a kind of a chance, put him on SmackDown. If you want him to even have a kind of a chance,
I don't know why you say that. Was Apollo Crews doing well over there?
No, but and on that note, just so you know, everything that you've ever said about Apollo Crews was so true, and it was so obvious to me last night when my wife, who knows nothing about wrestling, Apollo Crews comes out, and I was like, this guy's such a turd. She's like, why do you say that? Look at him. He's amazing. He comes out. She was like, he looks better than everybody in the ring. And then he starts doing these flips and landing on people. She's like, he's great. I was like, I get what you see, but he doesn't resonate with the fans. Like, if you see him outside of this little 3 minutes that you just witnessed, he's a total bag of turd. Because they don't know what to do with him.
His only problem is the writing team. The problem isn't in him.
Right. He has the tools, is what I'm trying to say. Is he's got it, but they're not using it, and he's gone.
All right, I'm gonna wrap things up if that's cool with you.
I guess.
You got more you want to say? Let me leave it. Let's do it.
No, I don't. I'm just in a weird mood today. No, I'm good.
All right, man. Thank you for your time. We will listen. Whatever you want to say. We're gonna have another podcast tomorrow and Thursday.
I just feel good that I'm the champion of the Royal Rumble. That's my first major pay-per-view that I've ever won.
It was last night was the equivalent of a squash match. I got squashed. For myself, the Rob, and the Nostradamus, Jerry Valeri. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Post to Post. Like I said, another episode tomorrow. We'll talk about what goes down on Raw tonight. So join us, please. Cool, man. Thank you.